You may not notice it, but you are always, maybe not always, but very, very often, avoiding being, avoiding being, the simplicity of being, the intimacy of being. you are always moving away from the stillness, from the intimacy, via thinking about what you imagine yourself to be, and what you imagine may be happening to you. Throughout your day, you are thinking about me, him and her, me and my future, my past, me and my world and my things, and my body, my family. What you don't notice is that this entire process is avoiding yourself. Somehow you imagine that there is something that you can attain via your thinking. That there is something that you will comprehend or something that you will attain via your thinking. And at the core of all your meditation, you imagine yourself to be somebody. Somebody good today, maybe bad tomorrow, better hopefully in the future. And all of that is imagination. But this initial belief that I am somebody somehow crystallizes itself in a feeling of solidity, a feeling of physicality, a feeling of objectivity, a certain density, a certain sense of being a form, being some object that you feel you are, and you experience yourself as that. And throughout your day, you are having a relationship with that character. You are having a relationship with that sense of me. You are catering to this sense of me, managing, doing your best to improve this sense of me, to safeguard the sense of me. And you do not take the opportunity to question this sense of me. What is it? What is it? What is its reality? What is its truth? What is its factuality? That I put so much of my attention and so much of my energy and so much of my caring into this sense of personal self, the sense of me that we are so familiar with. What is it? What is its structure? What is its composition? What is its reality? It's a question that is available to you. And the answer is also available to you because that sense of me is right there within yourself, as yourself, intimate with yourself. You don't need to go far. You don't need to go out of yourself to investigate, to look into this question. You can look directly at this question. This is a very important question because you spend 24/7 of your day concerned about this me. Your entire life is about this me. So it's a very important question since you are putting so much of your attention, so much of your energy, so much of your effort into this me. It's very important to ask yourself, what is it? What is it that I'm taking care of? What is it I'm caring for? Because if you don't ask this question, then you continue automatically, like a fan is running, like an engine is running, you continue day after day in your night dreams, in your waking dreams, to be concerned, to be worried about this me. We hear some teachers saying there is no me, there is no separate self. But it is so crucial for you to see it for yourself. So that the spinning wheel stops spinning. And the veils of personal concern cease. So you can ask yourself in this very moment right now, what am I? What is the reality of my experience right now? When you ask this question, you may find the mind starting to spin, meaning it goes to the past. It goes to all what it has heard. It goes to some of the archives. And it starts to pull some old dead stuff. Because all what is past is dead. Life is now. It's not some story that I've heard or something that I've read. You will notice the mind going to the past. Because the mind is the past. Then how do you look at this question right now in this moment? What is it that is real right now? How do you look without going to the past? without going to your archives, your files and folders, your stories, your memories, your recollections, your feelings, your past emotions, your old wounds, your future hopes, your grandparents' history, cultural background. What is it right now? A moment of stillness, deep inner silence. The mind completely still, resting in the question, what am I? Sinking deeper and deeper into the question, having the question sinking on its own deeper and deeper. No one doing anything, just the resonance of being. Which is a cosmic resonance. The entire cosmos resonating as being. When you look at the me in this moment, you will find thoughts and images. A thought may appear, an image, a memory. Maybe a sensation may appear. What perceives that? Are you the image? Are you the thought? Are you the feeling? Can any feeling or sensation or thought define you? Can you be defined? Are you definable by anything? You, what is this you? Right now, in this moment, you, what is you? What is I right now? I. Where is it? Where is it? How tall is it? What shape does it have? The I. Not the image of the body. The image of the body. The image of the body may have color and shapes and sounds and feelings. But the I that perceives, that which hears these words right now, the reality that perceives right now, what is it? It's undeniable. The I is undeniable. I am. I am. Before the name arises, before the gender arises, I am. Before the history arises, I am. Before my children, my mother, my father, my neighbor arises, I am. Before my job arises, before yesterday, before tomorrow, I am. I. Yet the source is I. Nameless and formless. The names and the forms follow. A body is born, we give it a name, it's an object. A flower in blooms, we give it a name, a rose, a hyacinth. It's an object. What is it that gives it a name? What is it that perceives it? What is it that is not a name, that is not born? To go to tomorrow or yesterday to find out. I need to go anywhere to find out. Right here, right now, you are that. I am. You're directly who I am. John, you need to mute your mic. What can know the I if not the I? Do you think that a thought or a memory or a story or a history can know the I? Do you think that a narrative, no matter how sophisticated the narrative is, that it can know the I? Only the I knows the I. Do you know yourself? We all know our stories and our tales and our ancestry, our genealogy, our culture, our history, our philosophy, our religiosity. We know all of that, but do you know yourself? Do you know yourself? Oh yeah, I can tell you about my mother, my father, my grandfather, my great ancestry. We were Copts, we were, pharaohs, we were this and we were that, but do you know yourself? Not some story. Stories are okay. We love stories. Libraries are full of stories. There are many beautiful, wonderful writers. I love them. They're beautiful storytellers. It has nothing to do with knowing yourself. It has nothing to do with the peace of being, the freedom of being. It has nothing to do with awakening from the illusion of being somebody with concerns and travails and hopes and despairs and, oh my God, please, when will I? When will I? How long has it been? Long enough. It's been long enough. Long enough. Peace tomorrow, happiness tomorrow, when and if I get this and I accomplish that, and hopefully the stars will line up and Jupiter will line up with Mars, and then everything will line up and I will be happy. Okay, you want happiness tomorrow? Okay, the postponement game, the postponement game. We are so good at it. We're so good. We are excellent at it. We are the wizard of the postponement game. Each one of us has their own version, but we're playing the game with ourselves. With ourselves, because you're only the self. There is nobody outside of yourself that is caring and taking notes about your life and saying, okay, good, you got 20 on 20, you're doing good. No. You're only faking yourself by refusing to accept the invitation to contemplate, recognize the I. Not the I that is downstream. Downstream, the rivers and the source and the springs are polluted. Polluted, mean there. They take on various conditions. There. So can you notice the simplicity and the intimacy of being, not being somebody, not being somebody, not being someone. The intimacy and the simplicity of being, the freshness of being has no history. It has no history. There's no time in being. There's no story in being. It's just purity of being. There is no hope. There is no hope. If you want to be free and happy at some time, you need to look at that. You need to look at that. You have to care about it. So you can look at it, caring about it. This question. Hoping, wishing, maybe something will. That's why it is said that the process of awakening is just the dissolution of ignorance. Not something new is going to come to you from, oh, finally, God revealed itself to me. It's the dissolution of the veils, the belief structures that we are so identified with, and the feeling structures that we are constantly going to. They define me. Oh, I'm feeling like this. Oh, I'm feeling like that. Oh, yes, I felt like this. Oh, he's making me feel like that. She's making me feel like this. When this and that happened, I feel like this and like that. So caught up in the feelings. So that's where you reside. You stay with what you're caring so much about, the feelings. And we all know them. One day, good, bad, good, bad, good, bad, bad. Yes? Now it's getting better. I remember the trend from when I was 16. It used to be good, bad, good. Now it's good, bad, bad. It's better. It's improving.
It's like the stock market.
The stock market.
But that's always going upwards.
It's getting better. It's better future. For whom? For me. For me. What's this me? What is the me? What is the me? So you ask yourself, oh, I know. I'm gonna find what is the me. So there is I and the me. I'm gonna find the me. So there is an I and a me. Which one am I? I'm the I, I'm the me, am I? How many how many selves are there? The I and the me. Oh, I'm like this, I'm like that. Who's seeing that? Who's saying that? How many eyes are there? As many as there are minds. There are so many eyes, so many selves, like as much as there are minds. There are many minds, but there is only one eye. You look at your night dreams, right? At your night dreams. You dream of 1 million characters, maybe in one night, maybe in 1 minute of your night dreams. There may be 1 million characters appearing. How many dreamers are there? How many dreamers are there? There's one dreamer. Yes. So there may be infinite minds, infinite experiences, infinite sensations, infinite thoughts. But there are not infinite I. And as long as you do not know yourself, you are like a cork on top of the water, on the surface of the water. A wave takes you up, and then you go down, and the next wave will take you up like that, and down. Another wave can take you this way, up and then down. Another one will take you this way. You are like a cork on the top of the water. This is why some of the teachings, they say, you are not the cork, you are the ocean. You are not the wave, you are the ocean. You are that. The wholeness, the totality of being. This waking dream is not about family, it's not about money, it's not about fame, it's not about your body, because all of that is going this way. Every minute is going this way. This waking dream is not about your children, it's not about your future, it's not about your past, it is not about building the pyramids, it's not about making better architectural structures, it's not about finding cures to cancer, it's not about any of that. It is about awakening to the reality of the I am. Now, having said that it's not about that, this does not mean that it's not fun to cure cancer, it's great to build beautiful pyramids or whatever. That's fun, we love to play. We love to play. But you know, bodies, no matter how well you play this waking dream, will be born and die. Bodies will be born and die. Sometimes they're born and die at a slow rate, sometimes they're born and die just like that. Because when the bodies are born and die, you do not born. You are not born and you do not die. You need to come to this clarity. You need to come to this complete understanding of yourself. So I will take this opportunity to invite you, if you have any questions, any comments, anything that you want to discuss or look into.
Just have a comment.
Yes, Fernando.
I thought in the past that I was the story of my life. And I repeated to myself and to other people about my story.
Yes. So did I.
And I thought that I was that.
Yes.
My CV, my resume, my job, my opinions.
Yes.
And I reinforced it every time that I repeated that story. I thought that I was that.
Yes.
And about a year ago, I had a realization that it just wasn't a story.
Yes.
That I was feeding.
Yes.
Feeding.
Yes.
Every time that I repeated that story.
Mm-hmm.
Some parts of that story, I like it.
We love our story, right? Others, even the ones we don't like, we also.
I reinforced that.
Yes.
And I thought that I was that part of the dark parts of my story, my
yes.
suffering and all the kind of things. But I think about a year ago, I realized that it was just a story,
Mm-hmm.
and I could put a label. But I just it was thought.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of empty thing, and I was next a liberating experience.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes. Yes.
But now clear about that. But I just wanted
Yes.
to comment on
Yes.
that.
I also resonate with that. I have 5 brothers, and when we used to get together, and it was always like a rehashing the old stories, repeating them, and somehow it makes us feel the person. We're like,
identify with that story.
Yes, we identify, and it's also at the feeling level. It's at a gut level, not just at the image level and the mental level. It's also at the feeling level. Yes.
I also want to share, talking what you are talking about. I also had an experience. Was with a teacher, many people, 100 people there. You raise your hand and you share, blah, blah, blah. Soon the tears come, woo-hoo. I'm one of those, and woo-hoo, and laughing and crying and so on. And when it was all over, he said, and he put his hand behind, he had something behind him, and it was a little, what do you call it?
Button?
A button.
Yes.
And it said, who cares?
Who cares?
I remember it was such a shock to the system. I realized that who cares about my story?
Pop your balloon.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah, and also within our own, throughout the day, we are also spinning some me story. It could be about my work, the situation, whatever. It's always at the core of our thinking. There is this me and my this and my that. To sort of notice that, and and when you look at the me, you actually don't find a me. You only find thoughts and sensations. You don't actually find a me. You find the me is just a bundle of thoughts and movements of thoughts and sensations, feelings, which are constantly changing. And in deep sleep, they're not there at all. And yet we somehow feel and believe that this is what I am. This is what's real. What is real is this me. So it's important to take a look at that, and at some point to start to distinguish, to notice within your thinking, within your day, within how you're living, that you're feeding this mirage. You keep on feeding this mirage, and you keep on identifying with this character. It's like an imaginary character, like Santa Claus. And you're living your life. You're 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. You're still in that realm. And you're looking for happiness, because we all want happiness. We're looking for happiness as a dream character. How can a dream character be happy? It's a dream character. The only happiness that the dream character will have is a dream happiness. A dream happiness. And the dream characters keep shifting, and their happiness, the dream happiness of that dream character keeps shifting. Now it's like this, no, it's that, now it's more money, no, it's better relationship, better whatever. To see through that. Viveka, the discrimination, to notice within yourself the false from the real. The false meaning that which is moving, that you imagine it to be real, because real does not move. Reality does not move. It may dream of movement, like in your night sleep, in your night dreams, you're not moving. You are not there. The dreamer is not moving, but it dreams of movement. But when you wake up, realize that all these movements were dream movements, right? If you dreamt of a pink flying elephant flying through the prairie, you wake up, you realize, that was a dream flight. It was a dream flight. And the prairie was a dream prairie. The pink flying elephant was a dream pink flying elephant. The flight pattern was all dream. Yes. What was not dream, what is not dream, is awareness, consciousness. The reality that right now perceives this perception.
What are you saying now?
The reality that right now perceives this perception, that whatever name you call it, it doesn't matter, you don't need to call it anything. We say consciousness, we say awareness, we say presence, we say Brahman, whatever. Don't worry about the words. Just the reality, you know you are. Whatever that I is, you know I am. I know I am. Then I say, well, I know I am a man or I'm a woman. That's an add-on. Before I am a man, I know the I has no gender. I. When you say I, you don't go I, a man or a woman. That follows, that's next. Before is I. So I is formless. It's undeniable. You cannot deny I. What would deny I? What could deny I? Nothing. Undeniable. But when you look at the I, what is it that's looking at the I? I is looking at the I. Which means I can look at itself. Meaning within itself, I is self-knowing. It's like, it's not just a light that's looking at out there. It's the light that shines onto itself, that knows itself. So it's a presence that is aware. It's presence. I is presence. Yes, presence. We use the word presence. I is presence. But this I that is presence is also aware. It is not only aware that it's hearing something, but it's also aware that it is aware. So I, awareness, is aware irrespective of hearing, irrespective of perceiving. And it is also aware of perceiving and of hearing and of sensing and of thinking. Yes? You follow? So this I that is self-aware is also aware of the world, body, mind. Yes? It's aware of the world, body, mind. Red, green, female, male, sky, trees, thoughts. So it's aware of the world, body, mind. But the world, body, mind that it is aware of is not outside of itself. Because the thought that says the tree is out there, that thought that says the tree is out there, the thought is not out there. It's right here. Intimate. Yes? And the perception of the tree is not out there. Where is the perception of the tree or the perception of this room? Where is the perception? You are perceiving your perception. Yes, you're perceiving your perception. You perceive your perception of the tree, of the water, of the ocean, of the thoughts, of the memory of your grandmother, whatever. You're perceiving your perception. You're perceiving your perception. You need to really look at that. Take a close look at that. You are never perceiving anything but your perception. You're perceiving your perception. Where is your perception? Where is it? It's not out there.
What?
It is not out there.
The perception is out there.
It's not out
No,
there.
it can't exactly.
It is not out
sorry,
there.
I thought you.
Your perception is not
No.
out there. Your perception, where is it? If you look, don't ask me, don't ask the rabbi or the priest or the, enlightened sages. Ask yourself. You are the self. Ask yourself, where is my perception? You ask yourself, where is my perception? Go ask yourself, where is my perception? You will not find it anywhere. Or another way of saying it, you will just find it as yourself. There is no place, no location of your perception.
So who's the perceiver itself?
Well,
Right?
the perceiver is only, if we're talking about the reality, there's only one real perceiver. So we have to go to whatever it is real, and that which is real is the perceiver. So we ask ourselves, what is it that is real? So we ask ourselves right now, what is it that is real? Because the question is, what is the real perceiver? So in order to answer the question, what is the real perceiver, we have to ask ourselves the question, what is it that is real? So we ask ourselves the question, what is it that is real? And so we look, what is it that is real? The weather changes, the thoughts keep changing. My foot itches here like that. Now it's like this. Now I'm 12-year-old. Now I'm 80 years old. So it's not that which is real, because that's keeping changing. The only thing that you find that does not change is I awareness, I consciousness. Not I the body, not I the muscular man or the very beautiful woman. Oh, now, this is changing. Not that I. Not I the download. I as consciousness. That is real. Because when have you not been conscious? Ask yourself this question. When have you not been conscious?
Never. You can never stop.
Okay, we need to clarify. We're not talking about the body being sentient. When you fall on your head and the brain is rattled and now you don't perceive or hear anything, which is called fainting or something like that. That pertains to the body. The body has become insentient. There is a malfunctioning with the body. Or, for example, in deep sleep. In deep sleep, nobody's knocking your head. There is no body, no world, no mind, no mother, no father, no daughters, no hunger, nothing, right? Right? So at the body level, at the body-mind level, it's like the dimmer. The light has been dimmed down during deep sleep, yes? The question is, has consciousness been dimmed down? We say, okay, if consciousness has been dimmed down, and I say, yes, consciousness has been dimmed down, then I'm going to ask you, what is it that has witnessed that? What is it that has witnessed that the consciousness has been dimmed down? And you're going to say, well, I mean consciousness. So consciousness was there witnessing itself being dimmed down. Which one is it? It's the tautology. It's tautological to consider that consciousness can be non-conscious, unconscious. Because for consciousness to be unconscious, consciousness has to be aware of its unconsciousness. And that is a tautology. Anyways, just a little reasoning here. Coming back to your question, what is the real observer, right?
Who's the real perceiver?
Perceiver. The real perceiver has to be the only reality, which is the reality of consciousness. There is no other reality. So the buck stops with consciousness. The real perceiver is consciousness. Now, what is it that is being perceived? For example, I'm taking the question further. What is it that is being perceived? Okay. I'm perceiving this perception, yes? Now, This perception, if you recall what we said, is actually I'm perceiving my perception of this perception. I'm perceiving my perception. Yes, I'm perceiving my perception. And my perception is at zero distance from the perceiver. The perception, the perceived, and the perceiver are at zero distance of each other. Huh? Because the perceiver is perceiving its perception is intimate with itself. So there is an intimacy of the perceived and the perceiver. There is an intimacy. Intimacy means zero distance. Zero distance means they're one. So when we're talking about perceiver and perceived, it's like talking about your hand. Which one is it this way? Is your hand this, or this? Which? It's one. The perceiver and the perceived are one. So the question is, what is it that is being perceived? The perceiver is perceiving itself as a perception. Wow, that's really crazy. That's very crazy. Huh? We say very crazy. But you know what? That's your experience 24/7, and you haven't never thought about it. But it's your experience 24/7. You are always experiencing your thoughts, your perceptions, your sensations as yourself. And you imagine them to be outside of you. And this is
especially happiness, that it's an outside source.
And this is why you are feeling separation.
It's out there.
This is why you are feeling the sense of separation and isolation. Because you are separating yourself from yourself, which is completely mad. But hey, you know, we are mad, so what? We're mad, right? We are mad. But we can come back to sanity. We come back to sanity. So satsang is coming back to sanity. Right? Coming back to sanity. Sanity is a sane body-mind that has gone insane, but the insanity is just an add-on, because in its very essence, body-mind is sane. I'm just using a metaphor. Okay, metaphor. So the body-mind, that's why they say that some of the cures of illnesses is not about fixing the body. It's about releasing the veil that has come upon the body to make it
neurotic
or whatever. So it's relieving the veil. So that's your question. Not only the perceiver is consciousness, but also the perceived is consciousness.
It goes along with all the business that you can heal with your mind. You can heal the body with the mind.
I'm gonna leave that alone for now. Let's heal what really matters.
Does this come under the isness?
Isness.
Of all things.
You could say isness. I mean, we could say consciousness or isness. Isness, usually the term is referred to presence, to beingness. Beingness, isness. But beingness, isness is also aware. That's important to understand. Yes, it does refer to the isness and awareness. So this isness is an aware isness. It's self-aware. Isness is self-aware. Because isness, you could say, well, the tree is. You could say this plant is. You say this table is. But the isness that we're talking about is an aware isness. It's self-aware. It is aware of, and all what is aware of is itself, and it's aware of itself irrespective of whatever it's aware of.
But we come back to the original thing where you started, which is that awareness is always there. It's the dimming of the light. We are aware constantly of the awareness itself,
yes,
of So it's nothing that comes and goes. That awareness is always there.
Yes.
We always have it. But I guess we forget. What is it that we forget?
Well, we can remember, we can recollect. That's what satsang is about anyway. We recollect, and also you are free to forget and to forget what you are, and imagine yourself to be a little boy being, or a little girl being hunted by the lions, and experience the fear and the anxiety, and run as fast as you can for the local tree. You're free to do that. You are free to do that.
That's what we do.
Thanks for that freedom. Yeah, we call that freedom.
Till one stops and notices.
So, any questions?
Yeah, so one of the things that I've observed is, particularly with satsang, is one of the key operatives is patience, which comes from an absolute certainty that there is this place, this self. In a way, it's inherently happy by definition. But at the same time, I suppose the confusion is all this mind discussion about what happiness is, and almost like looking for sort of feeling something. But in fact, what's happening is it's a kind of unfolding. It's happening in patience. Almost now, it's almost certain in satsang that that's going to be so. And I'm also finding just in day-to-day life that just sitting down and not just disengaging and not pushing for anything and not looking for anything and not looking for any definitions of anything. Just being in effect patient, but it also implies certain that the truth is the truth.
Yes.
That I am with that truth.
Yes.
And so I don't need any kind of confusion about, oh, I really feel good here now.
Yes.
Because that just kind of gets in the way.
Yes.
It's just really just being patient for the unfolding.
Yes. Yes. So, the conditioning within the body mind of, meaning the imprint of ignorance within the body mind, takes a certain, let's say, certain time to relax. Like when you take a cellophane and you shrink the cellophane, saran wrap, and you shrink it, and then you let it go. It doesn't right away go to its relaxed structure. It slowly starts to uncrumble itself. There's a sort of a similar, metaphor at the body-mind level. There is a releasing and a returning to the natural state that has a certain trend to it. So patience with that, and also trusting the Dharma, trusting the teachings. That once there are two things that happen with the teaching. One of them is that you trust it, and at the same time you are comprehending it. So, the more you comprehend it, the deeper your trust, and at some point your trust is sort of is taken over. Sort of, is replaced by the comprehension. So. And in your and the comprehension of the teaching, it also roots itself within you, and it starts to live itself in your life. You will find, without initially maybe you're doing some efforts to practice this and practice that and to do various sadhanas. At some point, these sadhanas are sort of operating on of their own, and even subliminally. So yes, it's yeah.
What was the word? Sadhanas?
The sadhana?
Yeah.
But sadhanas are like practices, sometimes we are practicing something. It's a sort of a spiritual practice, that you are applying it into your life. Any questions?
About another question. For me, it's easy to see, for instance, that we are aware about objects, you know, that plant, feeling, a thought, etc.
Mhm.
But when we are in deep sleep, you were talking about, you know, minutes ago that can we say that at the time when we are in deep sleep, consciousness is aware of not is aware of not objects. But how do we know it is aware of itself? At that
Right.
point, I
Yes.
don't understand it.
How can we know that in deep sleep consciousness is aware of itself when there aren't any objects? Yes, in deep sleep there is no body, there are no thoughts or memories or images. At least they're very, 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 very dimmed. So we could say that they're not there. And the kitchen isn't there, and my grandmother isn't there, my partner isn't there. So there is no world, body, mind. And when we wake up in the morning, we say, I had a good sleep. When we say I had a good sleep or I slept well, we are not referring to the beautiful dreams that we had, because concerning the beautiful dreams that we had, we say, oh, I had a really very beautiful dream or an unhappy dream. But when we say I slept well, we're not speaking about our dreams. We're speaking about the deep sleep. So how do we know that we slept well? Something must know it. Otherwise, we wouldn't say it, right? And in order to know that deep sleep was, because we're talking about deep sleep when we say we slept well, in order to know that you slept well, you have to be there, right? In order to know that there is lentil soup being cooked in the kitchen, you have to be there. You've got to go, you open the pot, you look, looks like lentil, smells like lentil, tastes like lentil. You say it's a lentil soup. So in order for you to say that, oh, I slept well, you have to be there. What is this you that is there? It's not your images or your thoughts or your body, or because that's not there. Only thing that is there is consciousness. It's just looking at it from a different perspective. So there is the dream state, and then there is deep sleep, and then there is the waking state, right? So there is some sort of continuity. Continuity, dreaming, deep sleep, waking up, the world returning. Now, deep sleep is not nothing, right? When we're talking about deep sleep, we're talking about something. Otherwise, we wouldn't be talking about deep sleep. Otherwise, I would say deep sleep and everybody would go, can you please explain what that is? And I'd go, shit, I'm the only person who knows what I'm talking about. If nobody knows what I'm talking about. But in fact, when I say deep sleep, everybody understands. Yeah, deep sleep. So it's not nothing, it's something. So during the dream state, the night dream, before deep sleep, there are images arising. And there is consciousness that you don't see, that you don't experience, but consciousness is there that's perceiving the image. Because if consciousness wasn't there, you couldn't say next day, oh man, my pink flying elephant was such a good flyer last night. You couldn't say that. Consciousness was there, perceiving that, right? That's during the dream state. During the waking state, consciousness is there saying, oh, I got to go to work at 8 o'clock today. Let me hurry up and have my breakfast before I go to work, right? Consciousness is there, perceiving these thoughts and these sensations. Now, on what basis are we going to agree that during deep sleep, consciousness is not there? Then what is there if consciousness is not there? What is it? There is no world, body, mind. So on what basis are we going to say consciousness is not there? How can anyone say consciousness is not there? Because the only way you can say consciousness is not there is for you to go there, open that door, which is called the deep sleep door. You open that door, you walk in, and you say, I don't find consciousness. But what is it that's opening the door, walking inside that room and saying, hey, there is no consciousness here? What is it that is saying that? Consciousness is not a phenomenal experience. This is why when we speak about consciousness, 99% of the population says, oh, you're talking about anesthesia, you're talking about fainting. They confuse consciousness with a mind state. So even doctors, they speak about being unconscious. They say this patient was unconscious because they're talking about a mind state. You see, 99% of the population has that notion that consciousness is a mind state. In fact, consciousness is not a mind state, because all mind states are perceived. What perceives is not perceived. Right now, you perceive this, but you do not perceive that which perceives this as a phenomenal object. You perceive the phenomenal object, which we refer to as hand. You hear the sound, which we refer to as clapping. But you do not perceive that which perceives that as a phenomenal form. You know that which perceives that because you are that. So I know that I am the perceiver, but I do not know that I am the perceiver because there is because I have a phenomenal experience of the self, of I. The experience of the self is not phenomenal, it is noumenal. It is an apperception, it is not a perception. You perceive the tree, you perceive a sound, you perceive a color, you perceive a bodily sensation. You do not perceive the self. You only apperceive it. Apperceive it means you know it as yourself. It's very hard to explain to explain it as you know, at the mind level. You know yourself because you are yourself. You know the body as something because you are not the body. Now, some people say, well, wait a minute. How come I am not the body? Where is the body? The body and the self are one, and then they're right. Because they say, you're right. So yes, you are the body. And so I take back what I just said a minute ago. You are the body. But I'm going to add to it that I am also this body, that body, this body, that body, that body. Because I experience all bodies. I experience all bodies. I also would add that I'm also all of that, not just the body, the chair, the table, everything, because everything that I perceive is intimately myself. And you say, oh, this is really crazy. How could you be a table? A table is made out of wood and so on and so forth and so forth. They say, well, okay, first of all, let's agree that up to now, okay, science has not found one teeny tiny bit of matter. We all agree on that? They're still working on it. They spent $75 billion trillion. I don't know how many dollars they've spent. They're still looking for matter, and they're praying that, oh my God, maybe I will find it, and I will gain the not the Nobel Prize, the absolute prize. Okay, and they will not find it. I'm sorry to disappoint them, but they're working, making a living, feeding their children, which is very good. Very good. You know, very good. It's very good. So let's first agree on that when you say this table is made out of wood, we have not yet found one bit of matter. So what is wood? Okay, wood is an agreement, it's a conventional agreement. We've agreed to label a certain part of our phenomenal realm because this is a phenomenal realm, to label it wood. Okay, we say this is metal and this is wood. But if you look closely at metal and wood, first, at the scientific level, we're discovering that the more we look at it, the more we don't find it. Okay. Secondly, if you look at it at your direct experience, in your direct experience, you do not find wood. You do not find wood. You only find consciousness, which you call wood, which you call it carpet, which you call it tree, which you call it whatever. It is consciousness. That is your experience. Your experience is always consciousness. I have no problem with calling the table wood and calling this car my car and that car your car. I'm not talking about becoming complete moron and now we don't know anymore how to live this waking dream. This waking dream is very easy to live. We have conventions. We're trained from being a little child how to play the game, and we play the game. But we are also taught that we are the body-mind, and that is what we are talking about. We're talking about the virus that of unhappiness and separation and misery that's been going on in our life that needs to end. What was your question? What was your question?
I forgot.
Drifted
Yeah,
away.
the deep sleep.
The deep sleep. Oh, deep sleep. The deep sleep. So you see, the thing is, right now, you can be aware that you're aware. If you don't ask yourself the question, am I aware? Your answer would be yes. You all agree? If you disagree, please don't hesitate. It's okay. It's not, nobody's going to be judging you, If I ask myself, am I aware? The answer is yes, I'm aware. If I ask myself the question, am I aware that I'm aware? Yes, I would say yes, I'm aware that I'm aware. When I asked this question, I didn't ask the question, am I aware that I'm aware because I perceived a tree? I didn't ask the question, am I aware that I'm aware because I'm perceiving the image of my mother? No, I asked the question, am I aware that I'm aware? So it had nothing to do with world, body, mind. It has nothing to do with perceptions, sensations, meditations. Zero, nada to do with that. It's just direct question, am I aware that I'm aware? It was question from awareness to awareness. It's an awareness asking the question to itself. And the answer is yeah, yeah. Was like, yeah, of course, yes. So awareness answered itself. Yes, I am aware that I'm aware because I am awareness. I am made out of awareness. You see. So awareness is aware that it's aware independent of world, body, mind. The deep sleep state is a echantillon, how do you say echantillon? Is a sample, of the awakened, of the realized state. The realized state, which is not a state, which is our natural state, covered up with layers and layers and layers, but the natural state is deep sleep 24/7.
What?
Deep sleep 24/7. Meaning that awareness knows itself irrespective of world, body, mind events. It never leaves itself to become something else. It recognizes everything as itself, as naturally as you are breathing, as naturally as your presence right now. never leaves itself, no longer leaves itself.
There's a beautiful sentence you said in the midst of this. So everything I perceive is ultimately myself.
Yes, yes, everything
That is.
I perceive is myself, all is the self, the I, the perceiver and the perceived, the subject and the object are one.
So what I perceive you, I see myself.
You're perceiving yourself as whatever. Because for you to perceive anything, you have to meet it. Otherwise, you're not perceiving it. In other words, there has to be a connection between the object and the subject.
Yeah.
And then we say perception.
Yeah.
When there is a connection, it's like when the two galaxies come together, they become one galaxy. We can no longer say there are two galaxies. So in your experience, there are not two galaxies. It's always one galaxy.
There are times, even in just without thinking about that, when you get involved in a conversation, that you forget yourself. You forget this person. Everything is in that doing.
You don't need to remember.
No, but I'm saying so often you're aware of when you speak, and you're aware of the other. But when that is gone, all there is the conversation. All there is that is what's happening right there. There's no subject, object. There's nothing. It is just the doing, the being, the talking.
And even when there is talking, there is never an object and a subject. In fact, there may be a feeling of a subject and an object, or a belief of an object, a subject and object, but in fact, there is no subject and object.
Mm-hmm.
Subject and object is a conceptualization. Laurie, hello, hi Laurie, you say the perceiver is perceiving itself as a perception. Yes, yes. Are there any questions here? I'm going to take this opportunity to also invite the people online if also you have any questions, so that we can also address whatever questions you may have. So any questions?
I can see with my work right now kind of a perfect storm brewing for identity, because there's different factors that involve I'm really enjoying it. I'm very into it right now. There's other factors involving like money and like there's even like proving stuff to my dad, like so kind of seeing this situation looming and unfolding. How do I?
Yes.
I can see that it's sticky. I can see that I want to get
yes.
in there.
Yes. Well, you don't want, on the account of somebody else's peace, to compromise your own. And your inner peace is not in anybody's hands but your own. You owe nothing to nobody, irrespective of what they may claim. Not saying that anybody is claiming anything, we said thing. Your recognition and celebration of your freedom is the best gift you can give to anybody. which is quite different from trying to please somebody or to fulfill somebody else's wishes or dreams. Now, on the other hand, if you do feel that you have an obligation, you take a close look at that, whether it is just a download, whether you truly feel that yes, you do. Now, when you are living as a personal self, meaning there is the identification and this sense of me that is not like really being looked at. It's unavoidable to experience angst about concerns, about a variety of things, including money is one of the big vasanas, being alone, etc. There are quite a few common vasanas that have to do with feeling and believing that I am somebody, that I'm a person. Because it somehow clogs, let's say, clogs consciousness. The abundance of consciousness, the flow that comes from consciousness is clogged via the personal self. It's like we're telling God's grace, you know, yeah, I know you're the Almighty, but wait a minute, I'm busy with my own business right now. Just hold off. Let me deal with all the trash and junk that I have to deal with here. I'll deal with you later. You know, say okay, because God is love. Says okay, no problem. If that's how you want it, no problem. I'm here. I'm always here. You know, I'm always here. You don't even need to knock on my door. I'm always here. But it will hold off, and then you are welcome to experience the struggle. Huh? Struggle. This and that. The struggle. Okay, because that's what's, you know, somehow where the dynamics, you know, are going here. So I would say that you need to realize that the abundance, what comes to you, does not come from you. It comes to you, but not from you. And what comes to you doesn't come to you to ends at you. It comes and it flows through you. It's a flow. But as it's flowing through you, like the stream or the river, when it's flowing through a certain field, it irrigates the field, but it flows through. So as it's flowing through you, it's irrigating you. What clogs that? What clogs that is that we take the river and we want to grab it all for our field. We just start to build canals and canals and canals if we want to. And then we buy more land and we take a bigger field. Oh, we have more and more water. Oh, we've got the river here. Now we own 1,000 acres. We only need half an acre, but we own 1,000 acres. And downstream, they're starting to starve. And they're starting to revolt, and they're going to come and they're going to burn your house down. Okay. What clogs the process is this sense that it's all my burden. It's upon my shoulders. Your shoulders aren't even your shoulders. They're God's shoulders. And God's shoulders are mighty, mighty shoulders. Yeah. Infinite potential. You need to also develop the sense of appreciation. The gratitude, the appreciation of what is. Not the greener yard, not appreciation is a nourishing. It nourishes the entire space. The gratitude, the appreciation. And also to keep yourself, your heart, your being open to share and give to others. It's not for you to keep. Generosity and kindness is a high value, high precept that is part of how consciousness loves to be. It all comes to you just to remain open. Attend to what is on deck for you from a place of peace and fairness and kindness and appreciation and freedom from your activity. You do your best and you leave the rest to God. You don't judge yourself or others because you're judging God. And when you're judging God, you're separating yourself. So in a way, there is a certain freedom from the results of your efforts. You're doing it. You do it with an open being. You do whatever you do with the openness. Invite the openness in your body, mind. Open breath. In your entire body. Just that way. Whatever arises, you welcome it and you deal with it like you're dealing with yourself. The other is yourself in different form. Yes? You know, not all rivers flow, big river to the ocean. Some rivers flow and then they go into different tributaries. One vein is 100 yards wide. Another one may be only 30 yard wide and it's flowing in a different way, but they're all flowing to the ocean. Whichever way your path is fine. It's perfect as it is. Perfect. Recognize that. And when these concerns arise, they arise as sensations within your body. So when usually a certain sensation arises within our body, that tendency is to move away from it. We move away from it by thinking about it. Thinking about what's happening with me, and so we're moving away from the sensation. So explore the possibility of remaining silent and still with the sensation within the space. Try to locate it, whatever it is in your body, and go closer and closer and closer and closer to it, and be completely intimate with it, without thinking about it, without naming it or labeling it or anything like that. Just without knowing it, but it's there in this moment that is not in time. You see, so you go completely to it, so that it ceases to be something external to you that has an impact upon you. You realize that it is this consciousness appearing this way. There is nothing, in fact, that is concrete out there. You see, But when you move away from it, you objectify it, and it becomes something, and you are something else. And so it's object to object. So there is the sadhana of being silent and still and intimate and welcoming. Not at the mind level, at the feeling level, at the sensation level. Yes. Invite the light is there to shine through you, to shine through the entire space.
Hi, Magdi.
Hello, Anne.
I've spoken to you about this before, but about illness. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Good. But I've been having intense pain with illness. Not all the time, but yesterday and today it was very bad. Today's the worst that I've had it for a long time. It's worn off a bit now, but I couldn't get any space with it today. It was just so all-consuming, and it involved emotions, and I was getting upset and fearful.
Mm-hmm.
And also there came like a sort of need, like a sense of aloneness and need with it. And I rang a couple of people, which helped. But I don't know why I want to say I just don't understand it. And then I think, well, what is there to understand? But I just wonder if you could say anything about that, please.
Yes. First of all, Anne, each of us has their own conditions, their own, let's say, karmic conditions, their own stuff to work with, and it changes throughout our life. At any point in our life, we have certain conditions that we are facing, that we are living through, and that we're working with, and it is part of our path. It is not a mistake. There are no mistakes. Now, it's at the body-mind level, when there is such, pain, and the body is wired for survival, and of course for doing its best to maintain its health, it is normal that there will be some concern and some emotions. It's like when you are in a canoe and you're going through the rapids, and it's different from being on a canoe on a quiet lake. It's normal to have that, not just the energy of the rapids, but also this sort of sense of imminent vulnerability, and the canoe could flip over and the body could die. So it is wired this way to a certain extent. Now, of course, there is also the dimension of I am the body. That adds on a totally different aspect to the experience of pain and illness in the body, which is, it's not the body that is sick, I am sick. So that added on, that's the identification, that's ignorance, where we're experiencing whatever is happening to the body, that it's happening to me. This is very common in the human psyche because of the virus of identification that we're all infected with. I mean, you are contemplating, the self. What am I truly? That you are awareness and consciousness. You already have a good sense of that. So when you're experiencing this degree of pain, and again, I should preface all of what I'm saying with, I know and I hope that you are also taking the remedies, that you are getting the medical and other help that you have available to you.
Yes, I am. Yeah.
Yeah, no, you are. So just to be watchful when this emotional state that is happening as a result of the body being sick is taken over by the identification, and so you have to sort of breathe through what is arising, and via the breath try to notice if there is the identification that whatever is happening to the body is happening to me. And our attachment to the body is, to a certain extent, is sort of normal, because it's how the body is wired. But at the same time, in our contemplation, it's important to come to the understanding that the body is just a temporary experience, and that it is not essential for consciousness. It is just a play of, the play of Lila, of the manifestation, and that to contemplate the death of the body is makes sense, because all bodies die, and so to be really clear about that, and that in deep sleep every night there is no body, right? And that's a fact.
Yeah.
Also, between a bodily sensation and another bodily sensation, there is no bodily sensation, right?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
So we do know the experience of no body. The body is basically bodily sensations or perceptions. So between one perception and another perception, there is no perception. So in fact, we do know in a very visceral way, beyond any doubt, we know the experience of no body, but the mind doesn't know it.
No.
But the mind is limited in its knowledge. One self is limitless in its knowledge. So we know the experience of no body much more than we know the experience of body. Because, anyways, I don't want to go much deeper into that statement I made. But so just contemplate that and find your peace with that. That what you are is not the body. That you are this awareness, and that for in your journey right now, the body appears to you on occasion with speaking very loudly with its pain, and I remember Francis Lucille used to say about like the pain in the body, that the pain in the body is basically inviting you on one hand to take care of the body, because there's something with the body. On another hand, it's also inviting you to realize that you are not the pain, you are not what is arising. And that's very true in cases where people had very intense pain. There are experiences of people having very intense pain where it comes a point where the pain is still there, but they're not feeling it. They're like in a different space.
Yeah, well, I've been managing my pain really well, in that more so than ever, I've been finding that space, and it's just, you know, it's not that I'm separate from it, but I'm not as involved in it. It's not,
Okay, Lee. See,
you know, but this one today was, there was no rationality in it whatsoever. It was just pain and emotion, and you know, it was nonsensical. There was nothing to
yeah. Well, then
space.
it's nonsensical. Let it remain so. It
Mm,
doesn't need to be sensible. Sensible. I mean, I'm speaking for myself. I'm okay with things being nonsensical.
I think it's just the fear of it that it's just frightening. It's, you know, it's frightening, and it kind of leaves an aftermath of like, oh God, you know, can it get any worse than that?
Right.
Sort of thing. But then that's just thoughts, isn't it? So
you know, like when women are delivering babies, they this whole practice of just breathing through. But if you start thinking about the next contraction, it makes things much worse. You know?
Yeah.
But we do that. I mean, we do that. I mean, just to notice that there is a process happening. It's not about like changing yourself. You know, it's just you notice. You know, okay, well, there is that concern about the next, you know, the next bout of pain, and just to notice that there is something in noticing that is something in noticing that is healing. Just to notice.
Yeah.
Not trying to fix it, but notice that okay, there is that process. It's like, in a way, it's like noticing the weather. I mean, I don't mean to make your pain banal. No, not at all. I understand it.
Yeah, I understand what you mean. Yeah, and it's interesting what you say about breathing, because a friend that I was talking to, I noticed I was doing some very deep breathing, and it was, I think that helps. So I think I might, you know, sort of look into that next time.
Yeah. Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great. Thank you so much, Magdi. Thank you.
I wish you quick recovery and less bouts of pain like that.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Any questions?
Just going back to previous conversation today, was when you ultimately said the perceiver and the perceived is the same. Well, that also means that the experiencer and experienced is the same.
Yes,
the seer
perceiver
and the seen
is
the same.
Yes, perceiver and experiencer, knower and known. You can replace any of these adjectives. So the perceiver and the perceived are one. The knower and the known are one.
The experiencer is always tricky because you always feel that you're experiencing something. But
well, the something
and the experienced.
Right. When you're experiencing something, if you look at what is it that I'm experiencing, if you ask yourself, what is it that I'm experiencing, and you contemplate that I'm experiencing my experience, then you will come to this intimacy, that your experience is never outside of yourself. In order to reject something, we have to externalize it. We have to objectify it. To reject something, we objectify it. We say, oh, that, you know, I don't want that. And we objectify it. And when we objectify what we don't want, we objectify ourselves. So then that's how we separate ourselves. We say, well, I don't want that experience. As soon as that thought arises and we buy into it, there is the experience and there is I, a separate thing. But it's just...
So it flavors the self, in a sense. It flavors the self. Could you use that term?
It makes you unhappy.
Yeah.
Resistance and...
You said resistance and seeking.
And seeking, yes.
It's a constant...
Same thing. You objectify something, you say, oh, I want that, meaning I don't have it, I want that. It's unhappy. Right?
Right. Another question very quickly then. How would you say about the selfless self?
The selfless self?
Yeah.
Well, when we use the term selfless, we're referring to the no personal self. So when you say, for example, like, be selfless, meaning like recognize in a way, you know, so you cannot be selfless because you already are selfless, you already are the self. So it's recognizing, the recognition that everything that is unfolding is cosmic, is a cosmic unfolding. There isn't a personal doer or a personal chooser. There may be the thought that I am a personal doer and I'm a personal chooser. But the thought that there is a personal doer and a personal chooser does not establish that there is, in fact, a personal doer or a personal chooser. We could say that, I don't use the term selfless, really, I don't in my language. I would say that, in fact, everything is impersonal. There is nothing personal. Even the feeling that it is personal is impersonal.
That makes sense when you said earlier, you said, I think that you
Only?
asked that question, that it really does not come from you, it comes to you.
Through you.
And flows
Yes,
through
yes.
you.
Well, thank you all. Okay. Okay, online. See you. And Esther, Ola Esther, Maya, Zoe. See you soon.